This video is sponsored by SquareSpace. SquareSpace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online, but more on them later. Okay, I think I'm going to title this video Overhyped Watches and What to Buy Instead, but I should say, not all of these watches are necessarily overhyped. Maybe it would be more accurate to say very popular watch models and what to buy instead. But I feel like hype and what is overrated is in the eyes of the beholder. So in this video, we're going to be looking at very well-known watches, some might even say overhyped, and alternatives to them. I have broken each model down into 3 parts. So alternatives around the same price point, if you've got a bit of money but you're looking for something a bit different, alternatives that are slightly more mid-tier, and affordable variations. There is only one place to start a hype list: Rolex. So I have a Rolex Daytona. I love my Rolex Daytona. In fact, it's what I'm wearing right now. But there is no way around it. It is overhyped. This watch should not have a 10-year wait list. So around the same price point, of course, the Zenith Chronomaster Sport El Primero. It has a very similar look with the ceramic bezel, 3 subdials, and oyster-style bracelet with polished center links. It is slightly larger at 41 millimeters rather than the Daytona's 40 millimeters, and it also has 100 meters of water resistance. I would argue the Chronomaster Sport is far more interesting with Zenith's color choices and the movement, which measures 1/1/10 of a second. Moving on to a more mid-tier selection, the TAG Heuer Carrera chronograph. Don't let the price of this one fool you. This chronograph offers a lot. Just as iconic as the Daytona, when I think of Heuer, I think of the chronograph, 39 millimeters, 100 meters of water resistance, and the in-house TH20-00 movement. And lastly, more affordable, I'd say either a Seiko Prospex speed timer or the Citizen Zenshin. Both hovering around 500 pounds, they both have 100 meters of water resistance, but the Seiko is slightly smaller at 39 millimeters versus the Citizen at 42 millimeters. We gotta talk about more Rolex. Now, I'm not sure if I would say the Submariner is overhyped. I think it is a watch a lot of people are collectively drawn to, and it is one of the most iconic dive watches, but it isn't the only dive watch. For starters, if you've got a bigger budget, the Glashutte Original SeaQ. Earlier this year, I had a SeaQ into review, a watch I've always had a bit of a thing for, and it's just a cooler choice. Big lume plots, highly legible, and a great wearing watch. I should get back in touch with Glashutte Original to see if they'd send me through any more watches to review, because I just love them. Another more expensive alternative, but arguably the dive watch to have, the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. The first dive watch, as we know a dive watch today, I always associate these with being like 45 millimeters, which is way too big in my humble opinion, but it is also available in more wearable sizes like 42 millimeters. For something more affordable, I mean, it has to be a Tudor Black Bay something or other. There's the Black Bay 54 for something smaller, the Black Bay 58 for mid-size, and the Black Bay for 41 millimeters and METAS certification. Now I have a Tudor Black Bay 58 and a Black Bay 54, and I genuinely prefer these over the Submariner. I receive loads of comments from very secure men saying, "Oh, Tudor's a poor man's Rolex. You only love your Tudors because you can't get the Submariner." Not only horribly snobby, but also untrue. I've had a few opportunities to buy the Submariner, and I really like it. But for me personally, I prefer the Tudors in this category. And finally, for an affordable option, the Casio Duro. I feel like I should just do it. I should just buy one of these into review, because I've been eyeing these up for so long. But I've never reviewed one. It has that Submariner look, stainless steel case, but for only 50 pounds. I mean, how can you argue with this? 200 meters of water resistance, date at 3 o'clock. It is quartz rather than mechanical, but come on, for around 50 pounds, this is a very strong offering. Okay, so the Rolex Explorer is a darling of watch collectors, but there's so many strong alternatives in the field watch category. I almost made this the only alternative, but then I thought I probably should put more in, but the Smith's Everest. Now, the first watch to summit Everest is hotly debated, and a huge part of Rolex marketing But the story goes, Edmund Hillary carried his Smith's watch on the historic ascent up Everest. If you're wanting the Explorer look with just as much heritage, and for a fraction of the price, it has to be the Smiths. As I was saying, I almost made the Smiths the only watch on this list, but there are so many amazing field watches that I couldn't not include. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Couldn't not. Why can't you just talk like a normal person? Why do you have to use double negatives? Okay, Tudor Ranger, obviously. This is one of my favorite Tudor models. Clean, legible, great build quality, 100 meters of water resistance, COSC certified movement. You really can't argue with Tudor. The Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical, a watch that I think is far too cheap for what it is. For £545, you're getting a great looking watch, 50 meters of water resistance, a stainless steel case, 38 millimeters, the perfect size, and powered by the H50 movement, giving you 80 hours of power reserve. Chef kiss. Mwah. So good. Another slightly different alternative, and one that I own, the Studio Underdog Series 2. I have this watch, I love it. It's something quite different for the brand. The big gimmick with these is the fully loomed dial, with the exception of the midnight color, which is, of course, the one I chose. I wish I got the full lume one, but this is still cool, and it's available in 3 different colors. Now, let's take a break from talking about overrated watches and talk about something that isn't overrated. SquareSpace, who also happen to be today's fabulous video sponsor, so thank you so much, SquareSpace. My lisp makes it so hard to say SquareSpace. Are you doing anything online or in real life where people will want to find you? Whether you have a brick and mortar store or if you're an internet person like me, you need a website. And this is what Squarespace does. Squarespace makes it easy to create a professional, top-notch website using their pre-made templates. They've got you covered. Whether you're going for something a little bit more artsy-fartsy or practical, maybe you're in properties, real estate, boom, they've got you. Wedding photography, bam. And from there, you can make it your own, plugging in your information, how people can find you, and everything is fully customizable with Fluid Engine, which allows you to drag and drop and make it look just right. If you need things to be even easier, they've got you. With Squarespace Blueprint AI, you just write your site description in the prompt, choose a writing style, let's go playful, and bam, it is done for you. Everything is still customizable, so you can edit before you launch. It is suspiciously easy. It's like making a website with cheat codes. If this sounds good to you, hit that link in my description, squarespace.com/BritPierce, and you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website using code BritPierce. Use that code so they know I sent you, and thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Moving on to the Rolex GMT Master II, and I, controversially, don't think the GMT Master II is overhyped. Well, yeah, the waiting lists are too long, especially for models like the BLRO or the Pepsi. But I really can't think of a sporty alternative as iconic as this watch. But that's not to say there aren't other great GMTs out there. First, around the same price point, I have to mention the Chopard LUC GMT1. How aren't more people talking about these? These are fantastic. This is a GMT with its own unique design language, smart and subdued, but still sporty, powered by the COSC certified LUC 0110 movement. It's just a cooler choice if you have a bit of money. Next, looking nothing like the Rolex GMT, the Grand Seiko Elegance Mechanical GMT. This is a more dress watch interpretation of the GMT function, creamy dial, blued GMT hand. This might be my favorite Grand Seiko. Like if I was going to buy a GS, this would be at the top of my list. And for something a bit more affordable, I mean, of course, the Seiko 5 GMT. This is what I bought instead of the GMT Master II. Not that I would ever be offered a GMT Master II, or that I could afford it if it was offered to me. But I'm still very happy with my choice. I'm still very happy with my Seiko 5. This is probably the best value GMT money can buy at £420 or around $500. It looks great, it wears great, happy days. But I also have to give a big shout out to the Q Timex GMT. This watch actually inspired this video. My next door neighbor was wearing one of these and I thought, That looks dang great. 200 pounds, 38mm case size, stainless steel. But just a sick watch. Okay, so no way around it. The AP Royal Oak is overhyped. But I still want one because something is wrong with my brain and I don't know why I am the way that I am. But it is overhyped. If you like this style and you want something that's a little bit more thinking man, a bit more in the know, it has to be the Zenith Defy. And I particularly can't stop thinking about the Defy Skyline Paris edition, only available at the Paris boutique, but that Fume dial, oh, so good. But if you're not about to go to Paris, the stainless steel blue variation is the way forward. Available in 41mm and 36mm case size, this has a dodecagon bezel, integrated bracelet, interesting dial with the 4-pointed star, and powering this watch is the El Primero 3620 high-frequency automatic movement with a 1/10 of a second indicator. So much cooler, in my opinion. Another pricey alternative is the Girard-Perregaux Laureato. Once again, a very industrial look with the bezel shape, pattern dial, and integrated bracelet. I love every single variation of the Laureato. I think Girard-Perregaux knocked it out of the park with these, and they are insanely underrated. I'd actually love to get one of these into review. If there's anyone who happens to be watching from Girard-Perregaux, holler at your girl. These desperate asks for watches in videos has never worked for me, but moving more affordable, and there's only one place we can go with this, the Christopher Ward, the 12. This is a watch I own and I love. I have the 36mm variation. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Christopher Ward is unreasonably well priced for their designs, their build quality, and even just the team of watchmakers they employ and the minds behind their designs. Available in a 40mm and 36mm case size with a choice of stainless steel or titanium. These are a great wear, great specifications, great price. And last but not least, the Tissot PRX. I mean, there's already a million videos gushing about these, and for good reason. It is an affordable way to get the sporty integrated bracelet look without sacrificing anything in the specifications department. The quartz models are priced around £300 for the 40mm, while the mechanical models are £640. A lot of watch is being delivered at that price. Okay, so the last overhyped watch that we need to talk about is the Patek Philippe Nautilus. We have been through it with the Nautilus. During the pandemic and right after, in about 2022, these were trading for insane prices, namely the reference 5711, as the stainless steel was about to be discontinued. It was mania. Fortunately, it has calmed down quite a bit since then, but the Nautilus is still very overhyped. There are still stainless steel models like the Ladies Nautilus 7118 or the complicated 5712. The 5711 just doesn't exist anymore, and it is now the 5811 in white gold for £61,870. Put on the skull emoji editing, Brittany, because I am dead. This is an insane price, and even at this price, they are still not easy to get. So if you're swimming around with Patek kind of money, let me introduce you to the Laurent Ferrier Sports Auto. If I was in the market for a 5811 and these sizes fit my wrist, this is what I would be getting. Like, it wouldn't even be because I couldn't get the 5811. This would be my choice over the Patek. So this retails for 48,000 Swiss francs, grade 5 titanium with 120 meters of water resistance, unlike Patek, now with their 30 meters. Put on the skull emoji again, Brittany. But I mean, look at this watch. To me, this is far more interesting. I love the hands, the dial, the movement is next level. I don't know who would choose a Patek 5811 over this. The only big problem is availability. Laurent Ferrier only makes around 300 watches a year. But once again, if you have this kind of money, inquire. I bet you will still get this long before the 5811. Moving down to more realistic prices, but still insanely high, the Chopard Alpine Eagle. I think I've been pretty shameless in my love for the Alpine Eagle. I really freaking want a 36mm. I mean, obviously I want the rose gold, but I don't have rose gold kind of money, so stainless steel it is. Once again, I think this is a far more interesting choice. I love the dial. I can't think of another that is like this. Roman numerals mixed with baton indices. The 41 millimeters features the date at 4:30, while the smaller sizes are no date. My only complaint, and this is a very me complaint, is that the bracelet has no taper, but still a very, very strong alternative and a thinking man's choice. Honestly, I can't think of any good affordable alternatives to the Nautilus. The closest thing I can think of is the Bell & Ross BR05, but I still wouldn't call it affordable, retailing for £4,600 on the bracelet. I feel like I don't talk about Bell & Ross enough for how much I really like them. If you can think of a good, well done alternative to the Nautilus, let me know in the comments. I must be missing something incredibly obvious and really good, so let me know. But anyways, guys, these are some overhyped watches and their alternatives. I'd love to know in those comments down below if there was any great, huge, amazing alternatives that I missed. Do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. And now, let's thank the gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Hey, Pretty Boo. Good boy.